Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Atomic Salt Live Show. This is the show where we can discuss everything in the tabletop hobby world. We're at Post-Gen Con. I am Wild Chevy, and as always, I'm joined by my buddy, Casey. Casey, how are you this week?
I am so disappointed because I was making so many faces at the screen and you didn't even break a smile once. I don't know what to say.
Well, when you've got beautiful models next to you, you're very good at being distracted, or not being distracted on camera.
Yeah, we all know that you're talking about the 28 millimeter kind, so move along. Nice try. Nice try.
All right, well, let's start out how we normally do. What have you done this week in the tabletop hobby world?
It's been kind of a slow week for me. I've been waiting for some washes to continue work on my buildings from Secret Weapon. They were taking a long time to get here. So funny story. So I finally got my package from Secret Weapon, and you know how much I love Secret Weapon. They're really cool guys because they even decided to draw a ninja on the back of it just for me. My kids thought that was really awesome that I got a.
It's nice to have that extra touch from a company.
And not just some machine. So don't get me wrong, Amazon is like that. So got some washes for Secret Weapon. Kind of loaded up my airbrush. I've been trying to do like some lighting effects. Tom Shadow's done it on a few of his buildings where he'll do like little dots of white color, and then he'll go over with like a tint. He uses a lot of miniatures ghost tints. I've been kind of doing the same thing with Secret Weapon washes. You know, so you put the white dot and then you tint over the top of it to get kind of like that diffused color. And it's working okay. I think I'm doing it on too small of an area, so it's not working very well. But it's something I'm still monkeying with. So I was doing that this morning. Oh, I got all the doors painted up. So it was kind of what it is. So I painted the doors silver, right? Or, you know, I primed them gray, then did a silver over the top of it. But then over the top of that, I did a real light white stencil on top of the silver. The silver shining through that it changes how it looks, you know, how you see it. So if you're down, so if the door's here and you're looking down, you can see the stencil really well. But then as your point of view shifts and you're looking at it straight on, it's almost invisible. So totally by accident, didn't mean to do that at all, but I really like it. I think it's kind of neat.
Well, it's always nice to have happy accidents. Bob Ross, there are no accidents. Happy trees.
As Bob Ross said, any day with your paints is a good day. So I guess that makes this a good day. So what about you, Alan? What have you done?
Let's see. I haven't got much gaming in this week. I've been busy prepping for events, but I have been painting though. I've got my galooms that I've been working on. They're getting close to being based. I did a nice little sand base on all of them, so I'm getting ready to spray those up and make them look pretty. Also have all the Legion Warcasters that I've been working on as a commission, trying to get those finished up. So I've been pretty busy with painting a couple of nights. So.
Okay, so let me ask you this. For your galooms that you've been doing, you said you were doing like sand base. Are you just using like the regular slotted bases and using like the tabs that come off the bottom of the model? Or are you chopping that tab off? And
what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the tab at the bottom, but leave still a chunk on their feet and use that as a a pin instead of pinning the base.
Okay. I just asked because I've done it all three ways. I've left the tab on, I've put it down on the slab base, and did kind of like a PVA and sand over the top, and it looks really good. I mean, it it looks nice. And then I've also done it where I've totally chopped the tab off and I've drilled a hole up into the foot and pinned it to the base. And I hated doing that because it was a lot of work. And I don't feel like I was getting a great connection between the pin and the base. And then the third way is I've done it like that, where I've chopped off almost all of it except for a little spike at the bottom of the foot, and then tried to shave that down. That seemed like that was even more work. Like I just feel like I'm just like whittling this little piece of metal down.
Well, I just use clippers and just snip it to like a little trapezoidal shape, and then cut a hole out, stick it in, glue it in, boom.
Okay, maybe I just need to work on it a little bit more and get a little faster at it. So, but I've been trying to avoid using clippers on them just because I always find like I bend something that way.
Yeah, I guess like a good tip is like a Dremel or a little saw or whatever, and then saw in between the legs. Because yeah, you do get a little bit of flex when you're trimming on the inside with the clippers. You will spread the legs apart.
Yeah, that's typically what I do. Is I'll saw it off, or I'll do something like that. So okay, at least I'm not totally out there on how I do things. So, but speaking of your galooms, we've seen some cool new stuff from Infinity this week.
Yeah, this is post Gen Con. I mean, the best 4 days of gaming, we saw a lot of stuff this week. A lot of companies revealed their their big surprises for the year and all that. So we saw a lot of things, especially from Corvus Belli. We saw another stunning seminar from the guy from Bostria.
Yeah, Carlos' presentations are always kind of fun. I'll say this one was interesting because it was a little different. Typically we're used to seeing or hearing the presentations, like when they go to, he's really just kind of talking to the fans. Versus, and this time it felt more like a business meeting, or like he was talking to the shareholders, or talking to people who might be looking at Corvus Belli either for the first time or as more than just gamers.
Well, I mean,
Of
you've got 2 hours to fill. There, I mean, he's and then Carlos notoriously saves these small little nuggets for each seminar he does. So I mean, you got 2 hours to fill. You might as well talk a little bit about your company growth and everything.
Yep, I agree 100. It was a little different to kind of but it was nice. It was just a difference in tone.
And if you guys out there, if you haven't seen the live stream, the Dormicon channel was able to stream through Twitch. So if you go to twitch.tv/Dormicom, you'll be able to watch the full seminar.
Yep, and he got a pretty good spot. It's got good sound, so it's actually pleasurable to watch. Takes about an hour or so, but it's all the good stuff. So yeah, so let's kind of start where he started off. He started talking about the RPG. How excited are you for this?
Oh, this is amazing. I mean, just before Gen Con, Modifius rolled out that they're out of the alpha phase and they're going to go into the beta phase of the RPG. And then the seminar, Carlos was talking about it. It had some pictures to show off.
Yeah, he was showing off. So this is Colonel Verone, the Cossack diplomat. Cossack diplomats are something like the Morat diplomats, in that they don't do a lot of talking. And so this is going to be, I'll be honest, I don't do a whole lot. I haven't done a whole lot with the RPG other than read a few of the documents and back in the alpha. But it looks like he's going to be for the game, and he'll be the Kickstarter.
Yeah, one thing I like is that a lot of these miniatures, you can use as your HVT in tournaments or in scenario games.
So, and then we saw, I don't know if these are going to be HVTs or player. Because I'd like to a Hawk Islam lady here. You know, she looks kind of like a fancy lady.
Yeah, she's looks like the Sultan's daughter, and it's a very nice looking photo. I mean, it's not what we've seen a lot for Hawk Islam. She looks like an upper class lady in whatever society types there are.
Yeah, definitely upper class. Maybe there's some royalty there. Still kind of plain, but I dig her. I think it's the nice mix between it's classy without being exploitative. So we have panel miniature, kind of a generic businessman. You know, maybe he's from the desk job. And then next we got the Nomad miniature. I think that this guy's kind of cool. In a lot of ways, he feels similar, I think, to your kind of your typical dude. But we actually got to see a bit of we see the actual model for him.
What I think is interesting for the Nomad person, it's not a human face per se. You can tell he's got some body mods.
Yeah, you know what I really want to do is I want to put 3 spikes on his little rage fist because I think he looks like Wolverine. You see the way the hair kind of curls up and the grimace, and then he's got the little stripes on each side like the Wolverine costume. And he might be a businessman, but he still found a rock to stand on.
And like with the Operation Ice Storm, you got Pano and Nomads. Even here, it's kind of like night and day. These two factions are very similar, but very polar opposites.
True. Very true. Then we've got a lovely Eugene Dragon Lady. So, just I don't have much to say about this one, but she looks nice.
Yeah, not like a geisha per se, with no geisha makeup, but very classy looking miniature.
They also showed one more for Aleph. We don't have it here. But one thing to notice is that none of these guys really look like combatants.
No, they are very business-esque.
So, I mean, not every RPG has to have combat as its sole mechanic, but I know that there is going to be a lot of combat in this RPG. And so this kind of makes me think that these aren't really going to be the player miniatures.
But yeah, these are like exclusive crowdfunding models. So these are going to be probably add-ons or stretch goals. So they're that extra little bit that helps you spend your money.
Definitely going to be dropping some money on this one. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, it looks. I'm always with the shiny syndrome, but yeah, these look cool. I would definitely use any of these miniatures as a HVT, the high value target, because they look cool and they're themed for your army.
This could be a great daughter, or you have a right. I think you can make any of your HVT regardless of your faction. So I would talk about this by deck of 16. This was kind of a fun little. Some people get really upset they don't correct. It could actually fit inside of the armor. So Carlos actually showed that all of their armor starts as something that's being built around an actual person. So you can actually see how the character fits inside of the armor,
which is pretty cool. I mean, especially if you're a cosplayer. I mean, this helps you out with a more realistic vision of how to do one of these costumes.
Wow, I never even thought about cosplay. But yeah, I guess that's true. I just love that it showed the forethought of Infinity, you know, when they're designing them. Like they say, we actually have to make a person really fit inside of these things.
I mean, like, was the a few months ago, the Horus Heresy, we saw, forget what his name is, the yellow guy with the sword stance. And a lot of people were complaining, like, how his pose was unrealistic. But, I mean, you see here, these are very natural looking poses because they've, like I said, forethought added what could possibly be in real life.
Okay, let's not even go there. There's a lot of videos in their past. So I wasn't going to go with the actual posing, but because I think we can both think of some miniatures that have really strange poses that no human body could actually contort to.
Hey, everybody can do a rage fist.
Yes, and Captain Morgan. Rage Fist and Captain Morgan's all around. Now that's a cosplay for Corvus Belli. You go around and you just have like a little block strapped to your foot, so anytime you put it down, you're automatically, you know, pulling a Captain Morgan pose.
Yeah, you need a rock or something to stand on.
So here, your lovely Hanzuka, we're getting.
Yeah, this is great because from the starter box, we've only had one miniature for the Hunzakut, and it's been the sniper rifle. So later on in the future, we're going to see the actual second sculpts of this miniature.
Yeah, let's jump around here because we actually saw it. Here, this is what she's looking like. So as you mentioned before, all you had was the sniper rifle version. So now we have what do they have? Just like a rifle. I don't know their equipment. You're the Hawk player here.
They are rifle light shotgun or rifle like grenade launcher.
Okay, that's what it looks like we've got here. So, and I think she's got a great pose. I mean, it's just dynamic without being weird and over the top. Obviously, still very looks like a Hanzuka. And
Yeah, she's a
Jack.
pretty, she's a very pretty miniature, and I believe it was mentioned that, I mean, we've seen her in the Paradiso campaign book. She's there in the background.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, Carlos mentioned that this is something that they just kind of never got to the model. I'm glad they waited because it seems like they've actually been able to sculpt that wasn't completely sexist and exploitative. So good on you, CB.
And it's a nice looking digital sculpt, at least. I mean, it's not overly sexist like they've been claimed before in the past.
I wonder if the original Hanzuka was not digitally sculpted. So I wonder, like, size wise, how she's going to compare to him. So, anyways, moving along. Triller Crockman, that's nothing new. You know, this is some older stuff and kind of like a different version. But then we saw the ones that everybody's been waiting for. It belongs.
Yeah. Nothing like new tags.
You know, I don't play Pano. I don't really have any interest in Pano. But when I saw these, Corvus Belli is finally developed. You know, in the past, you used to be able to say, oh, Corvus Belli is an anime style game. And that turned off a lot of people. And to be fair, you look at the tags and you do see the anime influences. But whereas before it felt like they were really copying from other places, this looks like they, you know, we'll jump back over here to like the Hanzuka. There's nothing anime about this one. You know, this is something that you would believe that you could see on the battlefield today or tomorrow. And so I don't call, it's not like a gritty realism because, you know, you have like shiny robots. It's cinema or anime or whatever you want to call it because you see a lot of non-anime stuff going on there. And it's not even cyberpunk. It's like this cool mashup of all three that they've finally been able to pull together into their own unique product. And if these guys weren't cool enough, then we.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to have a nice? I mean, these tags are definitely like centerpiece models. They're great things to have rolling across the field, scaring the crap out of your opponent.
Yeah, it's too bad the Seraph isn't like equally scary in terms of stats as it is, you know, looking like in the model.
Now this one, yeah, the Seraph, it's a very, I'd say, like Gundam-esque, especially with like the fins in the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, with a name like Seraph, and it was going to be for the Holy Order, you knew you were probably going to have a tabard. You were probably going to have some kind of wingy-looking thing. So, now that being said, it's just very nicely done all the way around. So, and I think a lot of people who've been begging for this are kind of glad that they waited until, because this right here is a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. You know, this is Corvus Belli on top of their game, not screwing the rest that they possibly could, and so we did for this one. A little bit of new Tohon stuff.
Because you know you love your Tohon.
You know, I do, but at the same time, but this guy's interesting because, as you mentioned, this is going to have the imagine all of these guns with +1 burst. So like a K1 combi rifle with +1 burst, a boarding shotgun with +1 burst, or Nimbus grenades with +1 burst.
And that, I mean, that is a very cool. I mean, the concept and the digital sculpt, very cool looking unit.
Yeah, and I even forgive the Rage Fist on this because it actually kind of works. But this is very different from what we've seen for Tohon in the past. You know, with all these weird tubes and cables and stuff coming off of them.
And he's got
What
the
they are
dreadlocks.
and what they do.
He's got the Predator dreadlocks.
Yes, it's a very Predator they got going on there. And so I imagine that this is a guy that is going to be kind of like an instant buy for a lot of Tohon players because the fact that he works well with the tridents, he's immediately going to fit in with whatever anybody is running. But to more goodness coming on. Arrow Percept. So now I would argue that not that overly of an interesting model. You know, it is Tohon, but it's what I've seen these guys, Alan. The Tohon Tigers.
Yes.
I just saw these. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't care what they do. I just want them.
And looking at him, I mean, I want to see like a little bit of He-Man in this tiger.
Kind of a battle cat.
Yeah. But I mean, as a miniature, I mean, that's like a tag. Well, probably as big as a tag, base wise. But I mean, Tohon don't have motorcycles, so they're gonna run around on tigers.
I was just really hoping and that they were going to show it, but can you see my mouse moving around here? I'm really hoping this is a saddle.
My first thought when I was looking at this was like, oh, Casey's gonna buy a whole bunch of these, turn them into Tau.
No. Yeah, I just think because it's got kind of like a Starship Troopers, almost like a Krogan feel from Mass Effect. Like Krogan cat He-Man sort of thing. With a little bit of Zerg thrown.
Hopefully it's immune to being caught on fire.
Oh, I hope so. So, but yeah, I saw these. For me, these are my favorite models. Like everything else we show here is still going to be great, but these ones took the cake in my opinion. So, even this guy. So, target for the dactyls. This is kind of what I was expecting Sylia to be more like. So he's basically a dactyl with. He's just going to be like, I imagine, a little bit better BTS, maybe a little power or shooting. So he's not brandishing a sword, which is nice. Have for Panzerfaust, breaker pistols, decharges, Nimbus grenades, and combi rifles. So I don't know if we'll see rules for him before the new Human Sphere comes out, but he'll probably be able to an Inmotarkos link with other dactyls, which will be nice.
And that was the other thing. I mean, a lot of these are new units coming out, and a lot of them are in N3. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming out in the future. So if you're getting into Infinity, there's going to be a lot of stuff that has just released this past year, and a lot of new stuff coming out in the years coming. That's going to keep you playing this game.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, they are keeping the train rolling on this. So, uh, yeah, I think that this guy just looks great. So we've actually seen the actual model for him. So he looks just like the digital. Come up here, great. I'm definitely once he's released, I'm gonna be pink. I think he definitely has.
He's got kind of got that Western uh, gun and two fist pose going on.
Yeah, yeah, too. So chances are he's probably like an engineer. What I'm hoping with the visor is he'll be like an engineer plus hacker, because typically dactyls are either doctors or engineers. So it'd be nice if we saw a combination of all of those things in him.
Or
But
MSV.
or MSV. And I'll say that that's what Steel Phalanx really needs is some faster moving specialists. And the dactyls are nice because they move well and they're good specialists. But with any luck, this guy will be able to with them. And so you right up the perfect for ITS games. All that out. And there's just the regular female dactyl. We've seen her for a while. A male dactyl. I think he kind of looks like me. Mobile Brigada. We've seen this before, but we're getting a new box of them.
Yeah,
And I did say box.
Yeah, we saw with just recently the Yanissaris for Hawk Islam. Heavy infantry box with 3 guys. So it looks like we're getting the same treatment here with the Nomads.
Yep. Brigada. It's usually been nice because most guys think is definitely going to scare some people. So I'm not sure how effective it'll be because they're not exactly cheap points cost wise, but it'd be a lot of fun to see a whole squad of them.
I mean, you'd be hard pressed to run all 3 of them in a game, but now you have options for what you find in the army builder list.
This board really lock things down. Where one is manageable, if you start bringing several of them, your opponent's going to have a really hard time with this. That being said, I just want to paint one of those guys because I think they're darn cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the one in the Operation Ice Storm, and they got their great looking sculpt.
The one thing that I thought was interesting with this was how many different options Carlos was showing was in the box. The G version, inside of a single box. Kind of boxes with a lot more different options in them versus, up until now it's mostly been maybe a gun swap. very specific. Maybe afraid of putting this thing together. Does that look like any fun at all to try and assemble in metal?
It's going to be interesting. I think, especially storing it in a case, is going to be interesting.
So, looking at the concept art, you got a feeling that it was, like biomechanical. But looking at this, it looks like this is all just mechanical.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, very much, yeah. It looks very fully mechanical, based off of maybe something uh, insectoid in whatever planet they got the idea off of.
Yeah, I don't want to or even paint it. I'm sure it won't be any fun. Some Eugene, looks like the rest of them. Van Zant, we've seen him before. Just some more renders and painting of it. But with all of that, Corvus Belli isn't just announcing it; they're releasing it all. He's an Agua Seal with hacking device, a Tiger Soldier with Spitfire. Gosh, I love this model. Like
just those Tiger Soldiers in general, they got a great looking sculpt to them. They're very dynamic. They look like they're gonna drop in and whoop some butt.
Go ahead. Move. The jetpack is cool. You can see his buddy, the other model in the background there. So just a great unit all around. And then they give him Spitfires too, which is just icing on the cake. Was that right, Alan?
I think they're great.
Yeah. Do you? What is that right there? Do you know?
So what are you pointing to?
Because this one in the back.
Is that the first one?
I'm not sure, because I don't think so. Because if you look at the first one, like you can see how his arm kind of comes down, right? Off to the left or off to the right in this picture. So coming off to the left. Or maybe that's what we're seeing right there. But I don't know. I was wondering if maybe Corvus something,
It's a little hard to tell. I don't know. Maybe it's a little teaser for something in the future.
Of course, that was coming. Another. So, and then weapons. So you'll get like your sniper rifle, your heavy flamethrower, and such. And I like it again. They're female models. They're nice, they're feminine, but they're not over the top. You know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of like what you'd see right now in the military.
Like this little star that they've started putting on their helmets? It's totally like the star that I've been using on my buildings. I think Corvus Belli stole my idea.
You should write to interpreter and say, hey,
Oh well, for copyright infringement, so. But yep, it's a box that we all knew was coming. It's nice. It's Ariadna. You're gonna need a lot of these guys.
I mean, nothing else. This is going US Ariana. It's going to be a forest that'll paint up real nice and easy.
I think so. I think that they'll paint up easy. They'll paint up fast. They'll look nice. It's the new digital sculpt, so all the details are going to be nice and deep on them. So they'll take washes nice. People who are new to painting are going to have. They're not going to have a lot of trouble with blurry areas or fuzzy details. So yep. Just another reason to love the good old USA. So, but Alan, what do you think about the news that Merovingians are getting kicked back?
They're not getting kicked back per se. So from the seminar, we learned that the Merovingian force, some other units like the Helkas and all that, they're not going to be in human sphere. They've been pushed back to Archon Falls, but they're still a unit. They're still going to be in the army builder, but they're just getting pushed back. Which it's interesting. I think the Human Sphere book is going to have a lot of stuff to it, especially like it was hinted at that there's going to be new link teams, or the link team rules are going to be updated, and then like we'll have maybe possible newer link teams called, like, one is going to be called the Duo, which allows you to have 2 people in a link team, and that could possibly be used in your vanilla army list. So there's a lot of stuff that we're going to see that's going to be useful and change up the game a little bit as far as your tactics go.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities for that. Think about Merovingian response, MRRF, and some of the new link team rules. The first thing I thought of was Margot and Duroc. They're a unit that you bring on the board together. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that they're going to probably get that duo type of link team, where it's only 2 people. And I could imagine it being something very much in the vein of, 2 specialty people who have trained together a lot, work really well together, work really closely. And so maybe it's, you're only limited to 2, but what if they both get to be quote unquote link leaders? So, and Margot and Duroc just seem like a natural fit for that. So I'm actually excited. I think that anybody who's playing MRRF should be really excited that Corvus Belli. Don't take this as a bad thing, but think about it as your army is about to get a little extra love.
I mean, like, we've seen this. I mean, there's always a potential for power creep. A lot of games have it. Something new releases, you're like, oh yeah, I want to get that, and it's going to be better than everybody else. We see it with other companies, and sometimes it just feels like you're neglected when you're playing that army that's not getting that update. But I mean, MRRF, they're still pretty lethal on the board, and they're still a viable army. So whatever update they're going to get, it's just going to make them better.
Right, and I don't think that this is one of the cases of power creep, which I think Corvus Belli has been pretty good at keeping down. If anything, everybody gets really excited, and I know I'm one of those people. They're like, "Oh my gosh, he's new. He looks so awesome. He's going to be amazing." And then you're like, your first thing you're like, wow, he's way too many points for not enough of what he does. And you get really angry and you sulk about it for a couple months. And then you come back and are like, okay, yeah, I guess he's all right. So I don't think it was a question of the Merovingians not being powerful enough. I think it was just Corvus Belli really had some interesting ideas for these guys and really wanted to take a little extra time to put that extra shine on them.
I'd still love to pick up a box of the Luke Guru. I mean, those are some killer looking miniatures. And I mean, if getting the USR Yad and getting gets a box of grunts, you're gonna have a lot of miniatures that you can play vanilla. So
yeah, and I think that their Metro models are amazing. You know, there's no armor to them, and they just have these cool looking jackets. They're nice poses. They got a lot of they just ooze attitude. So yeah, if USA didn't come out, I probably would have been getting a Merovingian army next. So, but yeah, so I'm really excited for that. Then who is the other army that's getting pushed back as well?
one of the Jujings, I think. But
now I think. Go ahead.
Like as Carlos said, these are not. They're not forgetting about these armies. It's just that because of how they're writing rules, they're just getting pushed back into Archon Falls to be, I guess, maybe even fluff wise. I mean, the Corvus Belli likes to write a lot of their unit profiles into fluff, so could be a fluff reason too.
Yeah, and especially with Eugene, Corvus has been saying for about the last year or so that they really need to sit down and rethink Eugene, because right now they're just kind of the not Pano army. You know, they're Pano with orange on them, and so they really need to sit down and think about how to make them different and how to make them play and feel different and feel unique. So as far as I'm concerned, this is only good. You know, having stuff pushed back or having to wait for it. Because I think anytime that Corvus Belli has made us wait for something, we haven't been disappointed. I mean, look at the Seraph as an example.
Yeah, I mean, there's still the Magariba Guard and the Gobats. They're coming out soon, hopefully. I'm still gonna buy them because they're awesome looking. I got a shiny syndrome. I like cool looking miniatures. Hence this tower behind
me. You need to work on that and to kind of display some of those things better, because other than Ice Storm, you can't really tell what you got going on back there, man.
I got a lot of stuff.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You need to like display them better. Show off the goods.
Nothing's painted, so it's all boxes.
Well, I know, but at least show off the boxes. you paid for it. You might as well get something out of them, right?
Sure.
So, well, that's all I've got.
Let's see. A few other little things. We saw Relic Knights coming out with resin. They're re-sculpting their stuff in resin instead of the vinyl restic that we saw with the Kickstarter. Weird they're releasing their 2-player box set. They also have mentioned a new game called The Other Side, and from the interview that we saw this week, this is not going to be a game compatible with Malifaux. Malifaux is in the portal. The Other Side is here Earthside. So it's going to be interesting to see what that game is going to be like. I've seen a lot of people griping about it already on A Weird Place. And it's interesting, the dynamic of people. Some people like it. They're like, oh, yes, this is going to be a great new game. We're going to see some new miniatures. Other people like, well, I want more stuff from Malifaux. So it's a toss-up. We saw Spartan showing off the Halo game. I think you might still be able to get it, a web bundle where I think you get $40 out of extra ships.
That was from the work store.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff this week, and it's going to trickle out over the next couple of months. Look forward to seeing a lot of it. But
yeah, so guys, if there was a game that you really think was amazing and had some huge news and we didn't pick up on it, feel free to leave us a little note in the comments below, because I mean, this was just a fire hose of a past few days. So, and for sure, we're still going to be talking about stuff on, probably for a month to come about what came out of this past weekend.
Very true. All right, so Casey, you've got nothing else?
Nope. And as we both know, I'm the creative force behind this endeavor. So,
if you say so. All right, folks, thank you for watching. Tune in next week. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think. Like this video. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to see more. Casey, anything else?
Nope. Just feel free to tell me how uncreative I actually am. And it'll be just like Alan. So, but if there's other information, like we said, there's some cool new updates that we missed that you want us to be aware of, send us an email at theatomicsalt@gmail.com. So this is The Atomic Salt, and Gen Con just blew our mind.
Have a good night, folks.